Racing, it's a really hard game. It's really addictive, and I think it's human, like to want better each time. When you're on a running run, it's like insane. You're just like flying. It's really rare. Like you cannot really feel the time and feel everything. Everything is just happening. And when you cross the line, you just like you reconnect to your body.
Comes across the line, 1.3 up. He goes fastest. It's Amaury Pierron who takes his first ever World Cup win. Amaury Pierron is the man of the moment then. What's it going to be? Is he going to end Green Stream? Yes, he does. He takes the lead by half a second. Pierron goes fastest in Leogang. Wow, is it going to be 3 out of 3 for him? Here he comes down the line. Look at the time. Pierron does it by half a second. Wow, Pierron goes 3 for 3 in 2018.
Running is really addictive. So it's really dangerous because when you start not training, it's the worst thing ever.
Hello and welcome to the USA and to the finals of this year's Mercedes-Benz UCI Downhill World Cup. After 7 grueling races crisscrossing Europe, Snowshoe Mountain here in West Virginia plays host to a massive duel between 2 protagonists. Amaury Pierron and Loic Bruni have won every race but one this year between them. Who will come out on top and who will leave here as the World Cup champion?
For me to win the overall, we needed Danny to be just between me and Loic, so that was a pretty close room.
And now it comes down to this man's Danny Hart. Can he do it today? And Bruni must be feeling the pressure of the bottom, because if he stays on this pace, the World Cup overall title is going to go back to Amaury Pierron.
During the whole run, Danny was just between me and Loic. I expected to win, and then he went green.
Oh, he goes fastest! What? Where has Danny Hart found nearly 2 seconds?
And that would again mean that Loic Bruni takes the overall.
Comes down to the line. Look at the time! 0.7 of a second!
No way!
Danny Hart takes the win, and Bruni takes the overall. You've got to feel for Amaury Pierron.
I felt like it was the end of the world for me. It was really hard to swallow after this race, and I was just so angry at training, like every day, just to go smash the 2020 season, just like a warrior getting ready for the war, you know. I felt ready, like so badly ready, and then this famous coronavirus came and the races started to get cancelled. It was really hard to swallow, so I just decided to cut from everything. Like biking was too much in my head. And then the conditions in France were getting better, so we had some national races happening. I did races, but with not much training, just want to ride my bike as fast as before, but was absolutely not ready for this. So I just crashed on a national, then 2 weeks later, another national, and I crashed this time really bad and broke my back, my collarbone, 1 finger. So this one was really gnarly and took me off for the whole season. So I didn't race any World Cup races this year. 2021 season, I need to find back my pace, and I decided to go on a national. For quali, I felt finally that flow, that race flow, and I had a silly crash, just lost my front, but I end with my elbow just on my liver, on my kidney. Really hard pain in my belly. I was what the fuck, and go to the hospital, and just saw that the liver and kidney were broke. They needed to keep me awake every morning. The doctors came and told me, "You're out for 6 months." I was every morning the same. So being at the hospital, and when the doctor tell you you're out for 6 months, and you know you already missed like the whole previous season, and you're gonna miss all the other races this season. It's the worst like feeling ever. You feel like the world like don't want you anymore in this world.
It's always the difference between champions and grand champions, okay? To be a champion once, it's something that many riders has been champion. But to be a grand champion, it's not so easy.
Salut l'équipe, j'espère que vous allez bien. Merci du soutien. Vous êtes tous géniaux, je vous aime. Et voilà, moi, ça va mieux. Je sais pas combien de temps je vais rester là, mais je vous tiens au courant et on se revoit très bientôt. Bisous, bisous, love.
Like when everything is dark, like being at the hospital, there's always a little things you can focus on and will just like light up your day. At this time, it was just like having a flower, you know, like just receiving some flowers. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. Some people are really kind in this world, you know. So, and just some people coming to the room, some good friends. The emotions are coming back. Fuck it!
How would you explain Amaury to somebody?
Ooh. He is a vibe. Like, you hear it said, but this is the man who like makes that saying make sense.
Is like a mix of craziness, a mix of it's like he has all the good ingredients to be like a superhero.
He's one of this handful of riders that have that strive to win, you know? When you're on the silent track and you see him passing next to you and you feel like the ground is shaking, he's strong, you know? When you see him naked, almost.
You actually look like Tarzan.
He's got physical capacities that are kind of optimal, you know?
You have to know Amaury since a long time to really know who is he. If you look at him like this, okay, he looks very funny, very simple, but in reality, he's a super professional, and he works a lot. But always, you can have a difference between who you look like and who you are. All the riders had this kind of problem. This is when you are injured. Okay, very often you play with the limit, and to come back is not easy. Eh? You take time to come back to the top.
This is the biggest challenge of our sport, to find this limit between going fast and winning race, but not crashing and being injured and stay in the hospital. I felt really like, Amaury is going through a lot of this, and I was, to be honest, worrying for him at some point.
It must have been hard, like you don't really know if you're gonna be capable of going back again, or just being able to push, or finding that limit.
He has been unlucky so many times, but I've always told him, like after the storm there is always a rainbow that comes out.
Like he was, like nothing is going on the right way since 2 years. So it's quite long. But the only good thing was that I healed up faster than I should. So it was a pretty good sign for me. So the goal was definitely to win against the overall, and just gave me the confidence needed to go again.
Probably the most important is to win the first one. If you can do it once, you can do it twice. So after, it's a question of mentality, a question of work, physical, technical, bike. But if you can do it, you can become a champion.
To the day so soon, yeah. Are you gon' wait for me? No. Are you gon' stay for me? No. Are you gon' wait till the daylight goes?
Honey in the back, treasure in the chest. Demons in my head singing in duet. And they looking at me wondering what coming next. Like they never see the boy coming back again. Cold summer, looking at the wind in the winter, looking at the leaves when they fall down. Looking at the seas in the mirror, feeling low key when you shiver. Devil in the dress if you sin on. How your head sin like the sinner. I don't know peace. Yeah, roll from my dog like the shows back then. Hope on the bars from my brothers back then. Stuck with the luck of the draw past tens. Breaking the bridge, no making amends. I was trying to find some means to the end. Big boys to hit behind them, then again. Statues weren't made for the critics, they were made for the criticized men. Might step up the ante, go vigilante. Lift up the cloak, picture me candy. Before I'm landed. Semantic. We on the road like somebody planned it, but nobody knows. You didn't know then, but you do know now. And they didn't know when, and they don't know how. And you didn't know then, but you do know now. But you didn't know then. And we can gaze in your soul when it's cold. And we can stray when you don't go home.
Was just super grateful to get back on my bike and at the races with the people I loved most, like my team, all the racers around. So I was just in a good vibe, and end up the season with 2 podiums on the last 3 races was pretty insane. I was really stoked and grateful for that, and definitely it showed me that with a good winter, no injuries, my place should be P1 for the next season.
Welcome to Lourdes in France and to the opening round of the 30th season of the Mercedes-Benz UCI Downhill World Cup. Now last season, Loic Bruni snatched the men's overall title in sensational fashion. The 9th overall World Cup title to go to a Frenchman. Quite simply, when it comes to throwing yourself down the side of a mountain on a bike, no one does it quite like the French.
All the Frenchies knew Lourdes in March can be a disaster, because when it's wet, it's nearly impossible to ride. So we were first like scared about that. But finally we are super lucky, we had a really nice weekend, good weather. Like I think it was the best track of the season. Good dirt, some rocks, some jumps, just beautiful. Just the dirt was perfect.
When we watched the top men and women race, it's like these kind of crazy humans who are just pelting down a mountain. But actually it's incredibly calculated what they're doing. You know, they don't just turn up on race day and fire out of the start gate and do what you see on television. You know, there's a big build into that starts very obviously on track walk, to be able to find the lines, and then to be able to push the speed, and then, you know, build and build and build to a point where you're like, okay, I know this track centimetre by centimetre all the way down. And so actually when it comes to race run, I don't know that they feel like it's just this mad risk-taking exercise, you know.
It was quite a nightmare for the trainings, because the lift was super slow. Like we did like maybe 5 runs a day instead of 7. So it was hard like to get up to speed. But the track was just insane to ride. So we just like push a bit the bike on the track and ride more like that. That was a bit the deal of the day.
So downhill is the most exciting time trial you'll ever watch. One track, one rider at a time, fastest time wins. It feels like it should be the most incredibly simple sport in the world, but the margin for error is so small that those couple of minutes are everything.
For quali, just before last jumps, I was like, it was a kind of sketchy corner. I was like, okay, foot off to just like be sure to not have a silly crash or whatever. And then I was just like not able to clip in my foot. So I landed like off that jump on my foot. So my ankle was like crack. The pain was insane. I thought it was broken. I was like coming to the pit, crying, what the fuck, again an injury. So it was pretty bad for me. And Max told me, you know, an injured animal is a dangerous animal. That's what he told me.
In qualified, 5 of the top 6 riders were French.
Ended up P3, Thibaut was P4, and we were behind the 2 specialized guys, Loic and Finn. So it was a bit the battle like in Formula 1 with Mercedes and Red Bull. So it was like ta-ta-ta-ta. The 2 teams, 2 riders, like.
This, I promise you, will be a memorable afternoon's racing.
At the beginning, I said to perform in downhill, you had to be good mentally, physically, and technically. Now I think the head is like 80% of the game. This is what makes the whole difference.
You're pushing the limits. It's just you and the clock, and fastest wins.
So coming for final really was a bit fighting with the pain with my ankle. I thought my ankle was broken and I couldn't ride even for the final. Everything looked a bit dark before that final run, but yeah, always keep that light in my eyes and just followed it, and it worked for finals.
3 to go then, and now it's the Prellis teammate. One of the fastest riders ever to race downhill, Amaury Pierron on track. And we think he's riding with an injury, a badly hurt calf muscle after unclipping before that final drop yesterday. But we know that Pierron, well, he is going to throw everything at this. It'll take a lot to slow this big Frenchman down this afternoon.
I really pushed at the top and I went sideways mid-track, like coming a bit too fast, offline for the next turn. Just like send me to the chicken line. So I was like, chicken line, super slow.
Green at split number 1. Gaps across there, only half a second off here then at split number 2. So he's lost a lot of time somewhere.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the split to tell us, actually. Look at that. Whistling through these turns, though, looking smooth here. The overall World Cup winner in 2018. This man, he's up by over a second then. Oh, my goodness me.
High there.
The crowd will go explode with this one.
I just stayed focused on the present moment.
He is such a committed rider. Stays in the green by a second, which is a huge margin on something like this. How did he carry so much speed across that high line? And pedaling here.
You need to push, like to continue to believe in your dream and never back down. Last win was 2019. Okay, this is 2 years nightmares. Like just the fact to come back at the races was a little light, you know. The feeling was good. This is the most important thing for me. When I feel good during a race run, this is what I'm looking for. Just having fun, like floating on track.
Goes into those whoops on the angle. Who can forget this man's win in the Jay in 2019? This is looking good for another one. Here comes Amaury Pierron, and he goes fastest by a second and a half. That is a ludicrous margin. Pierron is back again. 2 years really with injuries. Nothing can slow him down, nothing. He is insanely quick. And 2:47, he's not going to do it. Bruni crosses the line in third place. And it's Amaury Pierron that wins it, Lord. He has a habit of snatching the big day away on French turf. Oh my goodness me. Pierron on top. And Bruni, well, he's got to be happy with third. I don't think he will be. Finn Isles in second.
Lord felt insane. Was like my first win.
All of that build of pressure and tension and the expectation that you have from yourself, and you get to the bottom and you look back and you see that the gantry is green, and that's got to go somewhere, you know? And I think that for him, the kind of expanse of his character and his emotion is pretty vast, you know? So when the floodgates open, they open and it all comes pouring out. But that's why we love him. That's why people love him, because you see that emotion, that raw energy.
Wow, we work for that, but immediately we want to project on the future race, okay? And it's something that you say, okay, the season is not finished with just the first one. We have to celebrate, we have to enjoy, but we have to think to the next one.
Every rider on the team is capable of winning a World Cup, of winning a World Championship, has done, you know, it's proven. And so once you reach that level, that's what you're always striving for. Once you're at that level, it's very difficult to see anything other than that as success.
I mean, these guys that are at the top want to win so bad, and you know, Amaury especially, you know, and Thibaut the same, I would say. You know, when they get second, they're pissed.
Wow, Thibaut is definitely the hardest worker I never seen. We are like, what the fuck? Who was that dude? And he was like sleeping at 8.
What do you think the key ingredients are to be at the top?
Speed, physique, and a bit of magic.
You watch him on a bike and you're like, this kid is loose. Like, he rides a bike, I mean, it's something to behold, isn't it? It's pretty wild.
He's one of the fastest mountain biker on earth as well, so it's pretty cool to have him.
Thibaut and Amaury work incredibly well together at the World Cups. They definitely have chosen the path of collaboration rather than competition, and it benefits them both. You know, at the end of the day, they are racing the clock, not each other.
What have you learned from him?
A lot of things, for sure. The speed, the skills he have on particular parts of the track. If you are close to this timing of him during the winter, you know, you're close to the win of World Cup, so it's a good reference.
Is there a little bit of like a bromance element?
Yeah, definite bromance there.
And one of the best we've seen.
And there's the fastest 2 qualifiers. Great to see the camaraderie between these two.
For William is the nearest track ever for the body.
Physical, long, rough, one of the toughest track.
And the weather was so bad, like all weekend. The real Scottish weather, I guess.
Actually 3 years since we were last here, 2019, and it was, of course, Amaury Pierron that took the win there with one of the most spectacular finish line crosses I've ever seen. Oh my goodness!
Wanting to win that bad is what puts all of us together even more. You know, we are kind of crazy about it. You know, you start winning, then you taste it, and you just want to keep winning and win no matter what.
Watch out then, Thibaut de Prella, one of the most exciting races.
And this could be exciting now.
Is near this split number 3, yeah, 3.1 up then. Well, this is what we expected to see. This is the pace we're going to get as we go into the top 10 now. Over 3 seconds up then for Thibaut de Prella. French 1 to 4. De Prella takes the lead, 5.2 into the green, 4:37.5. It's the
Okay, very often you can hear that it's important to have the motivation to be a champion, but it's not enough. It's clearly not enough. It's something that you can have just at the end.
There is no friend at the time of the race.
This battle is on me. The track is the track, the other is the other, and just the only element I can change is myself.
Let's focus on this man, Amaury Pierron.
He's going to throw everything at his finals run. He doesn't do it any other way.
We have pushed the limits of athletic skills, and now we are deepening more and more the neuroscience and how the brain works to perform more in a tough situation and in downhill. To ride at the limits is really the big goal. You have either the option of going flat out and turn off your brain and just go out and cross your finger, it's gonna work, or you have to cultivate something to deal with fear, to deal with emotions, and let it go.
See, the wind is getting worse and worse.
There's nowhere to hide. There's no time to hide. There's no time to lose. It really is that sense of like tiny marginal gains and elevating like tenths of seconds here or hundreds of seconds there. And it has to be right. You know, you have to get everything right. Every single piece of the jigsaw has to come together. So you might be able to ride your bike really fast, but can you race your bike? They're two different things.
Smooth, isn't it? His first World Cup win in 2018. He won in 19 as well. Can he make it 3 in a row here in Fort William? It does look like the conditions are getting worse at the top for these last few riders now.
Smooth, clean. How
outside the time of the Prowler fourth, less than a second off though.
Yes.
These almost impossible to stop. Second between splits 2 and 3. Haven't seen him getting too buck wild yet.
Yeah, it's getting close.
Oh, he's pulling back as well then. So look at this, Pierron very much in touch here. 500's the par 5 before the bottom. Through here he goes.
Taking the outside, yes.
Perfect.
Looking good.
And it gave him a great line and should have seen him carry more speed onto this section.
Look how much speed that was.
So Pierron should have good speed now as he comes onto this mile-way section. He tucks, and the next split will tell us what we need to know. Oh,
higher than that.
It's winding up here in four. Where is
green?
Point 2 then for Amaury Pierron.
Going deep on those jumps, which shows the speed, but I hope he can carry that one.
Pedaling between each jump, pedaling as he lands there. Surely Pierron is going to go fastest down here, this brew of a man. One of the most powerful riders on the circuit. Here he comes in. No dive bomb this year. Amaury Pierron goes fastest in Fort William by nearly half a second. Pierron leads in the Scottish Highlands again. Greener goes third, oh my goodness! Amaury Pierron takes the win in Fort William, his third win in a row here!
For sure I would love to win, but when you are second behind Amaury and you know he's always the fastest in Fort William and you are like I don't remember, but it was 0.2 or 3. But like it's like a win almost, and he's your teammate, so it's better to be beat by him than another person.
Just like we realized we did 1-2, it was pretty insane. I think, yeah, first time 1-2 for the team, so it was really a really good weekend for the team. Full of mud. I pushed my bike, try again, crashed again. I was like, ah! I have the GoPro that I'm just like yelling like, putain! I think I'm a bit stupid, you know, because you need like to do it again and again and again. Okay. I crashed so many times this weekend, like. Ended up 25th, so it was like, whoa, not a really good start of the weekend. final for one of the first time in my life. I was mature. Okay, take it easy.
Number one play then in the start hut. The series leader, this man unbeaten in 2022. One in Lord, one in Fort William. 1.3 back now, the end of the motorway section. Attacking hard, look at the pace of him down here. Get it! It wasn't a perfect run that saw him take the win in Lord at the start of the year. So Pierron just sprinting down then to this tabletop.
I was not happy with the result. It was frustrating because you know, like when you ride like not great and you're close to the win, it's like when you feel it, when you feel you can grab it, but you don't. It's hard.
Pompon and Amaury get on really, really well. I mean, they've been riding together or racing in the team together for quite a number of years now. They share things professionally, but I think they also really kind of respect one another's opinion on life and on, you know, more personal stuff. And I think they're able to kind of speak really freely and openly.
Yeah, we get on really well. Again, like in a family, sometimes there is clash, but we love each other a lot. And when he was younger, he was a junior, I remember this is me who has taught him to have in his plate like a bit of carbohydrates, a bit of protein and a bit of vegetables. And he would be the one to send me a picture of every meal he would have, being like, hey, I'm listening to your advice. So
she's a bit like the mom. She always wants to take care about us. You know, there is always little problems in life and we definitely share everything. I'm compare a bit myself with her in terms of lines. I feel like I ride a bit like her. Like I always let my butt in the back, like same position a bit. Lenzerheide is quite a short track where it's difficult to do a good margin between the riders. Like we in the started, and there is the start of the track, and there is the lake, the mountains. It's quite beautiful.
Lenzerheide is a track they both like, and yeah, that weekend they were simply on it.
you know, at the Christmas dinner, we always make some bets. And yeah, this was one of the goals, to win together.
By 2.6 seconds. Can she do it again? Second in the steep, third in the technical part.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good run. Fast!
5.5 seconds up at split number 2. My goodness, this is a massive run then for the world champion. Mira Nicole goes fastest at Lenzerheide, 8.4 up there. 3:11, and one of the best race runs I think we've ever seen from her.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
and there's Amaury Pierron, final preparations. The last man then to leave the hut, the man who won the first 2 World Cups of this year, a little bit off the pace in Leogang, the fastest qualifier. Amaury Pierron is on track. 1.3, he's pulled a second in there. That's unbelievable.
We know how hard they work. Obviously, the sacrifices you make to make it happen. But when they cross the line and they are just killing it, you have some crazy emotions. You're almost losing. Yeah, you're losing. Just like wow.
I think that's the first time we did 1-1 women and men. So that was really cool. Just good vibes, Valnor for the team is home race. This is where COMMENCAL is born, where COMMENCAL is living.
Max's hometown.
Big boss. Well, I think Max is maybe the one who wants to win the most.
Do you like to win?
Yes, clearly yes.
Do you think COMMENCAL riders feel extra pressure because it's home?
Yes, probably.
You can definitely feel it.
Everybody at that race wants and expects us to win.
There was sketchy jumps, like into some stumps, and it was so sketchy, like so many riders went down. Everybody started to do it, and it was really sketchy. I didn't eat it, because it was like too much to lose. I want to win.
He felt the pressure, which of course you do. You've got that leader's jersey on your back, and it's yours to lose.
When we saw the junior racing smashing our time from quali, I was like, oh my god! This afternoon the race will be super fast, like the time's gonna be really fast. Try to push harder than I should this morning.
And he went from, 40k per hour to 0.
Yeah, broke my handlebar mechanics super fast to build me the bike again, then I could do another run.
Decided that he wanted to go for another easy run.
Everything felt like I was late, I was in the turn, but I felt I was 2 meters before the turn, so it was like, so weird. I was so soft. But I still believed like I could win. I'm on my feet, let's go. In my mind there was no option, like I will race. The brain is able to understand the situation, to say to your body, okay, everything is fine, even if it's not.
Amaury Pierron, the man who won the first 3 of the first 4 World Cups this year. This is where he had that crash. He jumped that clean this morning and literally exploded on landing. This man is on another level of command.
Like how a body can take that is absolutely extraordinary, and how the mind can as well.
When we saw the video, it was, yeah, wow.
In the morning, noises were so bad in my ear. Like there was music in the restaurant. I was like, this is too much. The lights were too much. Like I had my sunglasses.
And in the streets when I was walking, just the car noises.
I felt like it was 20 minutes. And when I would look at my phone, it was like 1 hour and a half. I was like, what the fuck? Too much. So it was like, okay, there is definitely something wrong with me. At this time, I didn't care about anything about racing, just about my health. Everything went good, so everything is fine, but if I crashed again on my head, it could have been, I think, really bad.
Been with him like just 5 minutes after his crash, and he was okay. He didn't lose consciousness. We learned after that it doesn't mean anything. The signs was still okay, you know, and that's the problem. We kind of found out the symptoms just appear like a few days later. We all felt that it was okay for him to race.
No option. Like definitely, we did a protocol test for the concussion. But like I knew there was a protocol stuff, so I was answering, I think, kind of, you know. It's only 8 races a year. The only thing you want when you're a rider, when you're a racer, is to race.
I don't know, it's always hard to talk about it, because if we have to do it again, maybe we would have prevented him to race, but they are the riders, they're on the bike, and we can't feel things at their place, you know.
You know, it's not that the riders are told, you've got to do this. There's a conversation, always. There's always a conversation. It's hugely important.
If I told them I don't want to race, they for sure will be okay with that. And they were like, okay, if you don't feel it, like don't go for it, for sure. But for me, I really want to race, and nobody was in the capacity to stop me.
You know, you cannot change the character of someone.
Especially Amaury, you know, when he wants something and he feels he can do it, it's really hard to make him change his position. Definitely like the trickiest subject.
It's a bit sad because obviously a rider wants to race, a team wants the rider to race.
It's the discussion we're trying to have with, you know, UCI, or we need to have someone maybe taking care of it and taking the decisions, not letting the managers or riders taking the decision for them, you know, because it's always harder because you know the riders, you know the risk of not racing or the risk of racing at some point. So maybe it shouldn't be your call, you know.
We were really worrying in Snowshoe about how he felt, because he was not feeling great at all. He wasn't feeling good enough to stay in the restaurant. It was too noisy for him.
At the beginning of the week, we could say that we didn't know if he was going to make it or not. Looking like really sad and not really himself.
They were just like in my room playing Sudoku. Like it was not me, you know. They saw, everybody saw I was weird. So they came and told me, if you don't want to race, like don't take any risk. It's part of the game, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, no.
Your health is much more important than a race, you know. They're gonna be a lot more in your career, and that's it, you know.
Did the track work? The noises from just other riders talking was too much. I was like asking Arthur, can you please give me your AirPods?
All right, Amaury, recovered from the crash in Andorra? Have you?
Yeah, not so much, a little bit, but...
You're still a bit stiff?
A bit stiff, but just like still slow. I think I got really fatigued.
Yeah.
So my head's still a bit slow. So I cannot say I'm ready now. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know, high up. every day. I hope the following day will be better. So I don't know. We'll see.
It was muddy, so it was so slippery. And I stopped before that first rock garden. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be hard.
In practice, he was struggling, and he's like, "Whoa, Anna, like this is bad. I can't find the lines. I can't do this. I can't do that. It's da 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 da."
But this morning, first jump, landed on my knee, like damn, you know, like hit me so hard, like so painful. So I take some pills for the pain, painkillers. I take it easy, run after run, and if I can ride fast or no.
Pretty bad situation. The physio worked really hard on my neck because it was really stiff. Make a super smooth bike, not to push, but just to make it happen the safer possible. And run by run, I felt better and better.
When you are really deep and you're like almost dead, to climb back when you're a champion, an extra motivation. You know, when you have some small improvement, give you an extra energy and you can do some amazing things.
There's one man can ruin Bernard Kurt Street. Here he is then, Amaury Pierron. Look at this then, what's this split going to tell us? What's the time?
Drama.
Oh, he's back! So he was up by half a second, nearly 2 seconds off! Can he nail this section, Pierron? Yes, he can!
Nicely there.
Oh, that was absolutely amazing, and now, 0.42 off! So it's back on! The race is on now to the line for Pierron! Here we go! It's a drag race to the finish line! He's out by 0.3! Oh my goodness me! Pierron doing the impossible! Here he comes hard on the pedals, who's it gonna be? And the time! Pierron does it by 0.4 of a second, I don't believe it! Well, what a race, his 4th World Cup win of the year, his 10th World Cup career win. Amaury Pierron comes back from another big crash 2 weeks ago.
For sure, if you ask me like last week if I'm gonna race here, I was like impossible. Like I'm so slow. The only thing I do is playing Sudoku in my bed. I see nobody. Everybody in my team, they were scared. They don't want to allow me to ride. I just believe it. I believe everything is possible. All the hard work in winter, all the hard work with the physio, with the love of my family and my close friends that make it possible. So I'm just grateful to have these people around me to work with, to stay with, and yeah, just beautiful. I don't know what to say.
Great job, Amaury. Thank
Thank you very much.
American dream, baby.
Snowshoe for me was like the most mind-boggling switch that I think I've ever seen. He was struggling, and he gets in the start gate on race day, and shunk, like the switch happens, and he turns it on. And I think what makes elite riders elite, that step above, that World Cup winning potential, is the ability to turn that on. Not exactly sure how he manages to turn "I feel terrible" and "you'd ride a bike better than me," which is literally what he said to me in Snowshoe, to winning. Like, how that happens, there's some kind of magic going on there.
Welcome to the magnificent Mont Saint-Anne in Quebec, Canada. Frenchman Amaury Pierron stands on the verge of the overall title. He just needs a top 25 finish.
Mont Saint-Anne was just another perfect bit of script writing from the Hollywood producers of the 2022 season.
Coming to MSA, I had a really good points lead, like nearly a race.
Amaury absolutely didn't need to win the race or even come close to take the overall.
The only thing in my head was just like winning again. But this time, compared to Snowshoe, nothing was easy. I was just battling against my bike and against the track. Ended up third in quali, which is pretty good, but like feeling like won with good margin, and I was so upset. I was like, oh, people are gonna watch you, like you get smashed, like you're bad. Like I was just like, I felt so bad inside me, like, but it was third, it was cool. But I felt really bad, like, I don't know why. And so the only thing in my mind is that I want to win the race tomorrow.
The number one plate, the series leader, third in qualifying, fastest on the speedy sections. Amaury Pierron is on track, the winner of 4 of the 6 World Cup races this year. Can take the win today. He will join Aaron Gwyn as the only other rider to win 5 races in one season. 1.3 back though, and losing time from split 1. So work to do for Amaury Pierron now.
He was fastest in the top section.
Wow! Oh, it goes down! Pierron goes down! Wow!
You know, that kind of cloud sat a little bit over everyone on Sunday after the race, because you know, you go to win. There's no hiding that. Everyone is 100% invested in being the best and making it work, and that means winning. So yeah, that did feel like it felt a bit glum. We felt a bit glum.
It's devil or hell or something that just throws something.
Just to beat bit sad, you know, but that was beautiful to witness Finn first wins in front of the home crowd. Wow, that was crazy.
I think we started to fuck it up. You will have bips. On our side, obviously, we still had that same goal to win. Like, if he would have ridden just the way he started and just have a mellow run, I would say, he would have been on the podium or not far from it and still score really decent point and win the overall, you know.
He said that he wouldn't have been true to himself if he'd have just cruised down to wrap up the overall. That wouldn't have felt like it was truly who he is. You know, he's a racer, he wants to win, and he felt like he could.
World Champs is like, you want to win it because it's like one day, one race, you win. And you have this rainbow jersey. To fight for this title, it's hard. So this year, it was in France. We are in the Alps. Every riders in the team had their family, their fans, and all the friends around. So this was a tough one.
Like, it was the first time I felt like I could win Worlds. It was really a goal, but it's pretty intense. World Champs is, you know, the run race to define the world best rider. And it means a lot for fans, for sponsors. Like, this jersey means everything.
In Amaury's case, you know, when you've won many World Cups, one World Cup overall, and you don't have any World Champ, you know, you want it. You know, especially with mountain bike, nobody really gets what's World Cup champion or world champion. When you're world champion, you're world champion. That's it. And he wanted more than ever this year in Léger, but he wasn't the only one that wanted it.
Loic is an insane racer. Like, when I was younger, I definitely watched Loic. Nearly like a god.
Biggest crowd with mountain bike ever seen.
174,000 people came in the weekend.
It was really hard. Like, track was changing a lot, and yeah, so many line choices.
Into the green. Bruni takes the lead here for France, and the mountain explodes. Incredible.
Being the last man on the hill, like, you know that when you're gonna cross the line, the race will be over, and you will know the result directly. So there is two cases: you win or you lose.
And the pressure builds on Amaury Pierron at the top of the mountain. Will it be enough? Because Bruni has just delivered that run that he delivered in 2019. That, to me, almost unbeatable run. But when it comes to winning races, at the moment in 2022, No one can match Amaury Pierron, but nothing will slow him down. This will be full commit. Can he do it, Elliot, under all this pressure? If you're at home, strap yourselves in. This is going to be a wild ride, I promise you. There's never been a World Championship finale quite like this. The two great Frenchmen battling out here in Le Jet, France. Here we go then. Amaury Pierron now on track. Never won a gold medal at the World Championships. Oh, he's back just by 37 thousandths then. So he's right on pace with Bruni, as expected.
And here we go.
This is what we wanted to see.
Coming into this steep step, letting off the brake, catching these tight little ruts.
Gets a couple of pedals in there as well. 148 for
Will
Bruni.
we be in touch?
148 at split 2. Pierron looks like he's back by 1.1. It's going to take something extraordinary from here on down, but that is what this man does.
He can do it. We've seen him pull that time in places that no one else can.
Yeah, we've seen him have 2 runs this year with big mistakes, and he's still gone in to take those World Cup wins.
The crowd will be yelling in his ear, yelling his name as he goes down.
And Bruni's split time goes by again, and a split number 3. 1.3 now he's back.
Look at Loic.
Is he looking at World Championship win number 5? Oh, Pierron losing a little bit of time. Each split all the way down, Elliot.
Will Amaury be a dream crusher for Loic?
He's going to have to do something special now. 1.4.
Losing time. A little
stall. Yep. He did stall over the top of there as well. It's looking good for Bruni, I would say.
Just slowly inching away from him.
Hard on the pedals here, he's got to be. It's all out on this camber now. The back end kicking out there for Pierron.
Letting it hang out.
1.8 at split number 5, surely it's too much. And it's Loic Bruni, who is in 2022. It was not a winning run for myself, so I was just afraid to push. I still had 1 point to score for the overall, but I didn't want it to overcook and just enjoy myself. So that was in the back of my mind. And Loic was able to do it. He just did a really good run. That was the hardest thing, to see Loic win again. I was like, if it was Lewis or Troy or whatever, it should have been easier to swallow. But Loic again, I was like, no way, fuck. And you second, just one man beat you that day. Fuck. I was just thinking why it didn't click, and that was the case from my finish to the podium area. But when I came to the podium and I saw that crowd everywhere, on the horses, on the cars, people were
everywhere. That is insane. And when the national anthem started, it took me a bit of time to realize we did 1, 2, 3 Frenchman World Championship in France. But when I realized that and I saw the crowd who was just so stoked for that, for my country, for everybody watching this sport, and even me, like, it was a dream, you know, be on the podium with two good mates at World Championships. It's something really cool. Even if it's hard like to be second, it was cool. And then for coming like from podium to doping control, we take like a little police buggy and like people are starting running after the buggy, so some cops like starting running after the buggy. That was really insane. And we were all of three of us with Loic and Loris. We definitely felt like rock stars this day.
Loic Bruni, I love you, but I hate you.
After World Championship, like, where the hype was insane, where the crowd was insane, so everything was crazy about Worlds. And coming back, I think just 3 days after that, track walking, Val di Sole, I felt like it was a little bit over, even if it was not over, because the over was still to play quite a big goal ahead.
He was a bit exhausted from snowshoe winning, crashing in Mont Saint-Anne, losing his dream in Léger. Then he was like in Val di Sole.
Really hard like to stay focused and really motivated, because I was struggling, so I was like fucking sad. I only need to score one point.
They arrived on that track which was like a war field.
It was completely fucked. It was not even fun to ride. I think the toughest race ever.
Yeah, Val di Sole was too much, I guess. I was still fucking traumatized by that track, you know.
Too flat, same spot.
Same spot?
They're like 20 meters apart.
Wow.
What the fuck?
I just learned that Finn was not racing on the morning of quali. Practicing, stopped next to the track, and I just saw his mechanic Kevin. And I was like, okay, so if Kevin is here, Finn is not racing.
When we knew that Finn was not riding at Val di Sole, we knew that he had the title.
Just super hard to refocus again on the racing mode. Took me off every motivation. I was like, okay, why I'm racing now? Like, I was not happy, you know, like everything looks like going wrong at that time. I definitely wanted to finish the season on a high.
Of the newly crowned 2022 overall Mercedes-Benz UCI Downhill World Cup winner Amaury Pierron on track.
this end of the season is bullshit.
But Pierron crosses the line as the World Cup champion for this year. Max COMMENCAL salutes him. We've had an incredible season.
It took me a bit of time to get happy about this season, and when I just started to see Miriam, she wins, she came with the podium, so that was really nice. It was a good vibe with the team. Season was over, it was a really good season, and everybody was happy with that. A few hours later, I was just stoked to see my back, #1 plate, the golden helmet. So I was sick. It took me a bit of time, but then I was really happy about it.
He's a winner. His main reason to live, we have no finish line. Every year we have to continue, do better than what we did before.
It was the best season of my life so far. 4 wins plus second at World Champs. Yeah, it hard to be really happy. I was like, yes, that's stoked, but it was honestly that last race was a disaster, and finish the season like that is really unfinished business. So that's cool because that makes me want more, want it again.
Let's go, baby! Ah! I say hi to my people.
Every morning I say hi to my people.
Every morning I come out on the, how you call this area?
Balcony?
Balcony. I come out on the balcony and I say hi to my people. But every morning there is no one.